Today is July 26th, and that day marks the 92nd birthday of one of my favorite directors, Sir Stanley Kubrick. And for his birthday today, I might as well review one of my favorite films of his that has ever existed in the history of humankind. We shall review this movie right now. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a 1968 sci-fi film written and directed by Stanley Kubrick. And this movie is basically a film about the evolution of the intelligence of mankind. The movie begins with the hominids in the prehistoric world discovering their achievements in hunting and fishing. The movie then jumps into the advancements of space and technology, where humans are now in the outside world of the galaxies, and the film eventually ends up with the Jupiter mission of 3 to 4 astronauts on their mission to discover even more of the millennium of galaxies in the outside world of space. And now you got yourself one of the most revolutionary sci-fi films to ever exist and mankind. Honestly, what else is there for me to praise about 2001: A Space Odyssey? This movie is cinematic magic, and it makes me proud to be a film lover, because this movie has been praised for several things for so many decades concerning the cinematography, the art direction, the visual effects, the practical effects, the scenes in which they take place in space, making it feel as if you're actually in outer space at night. This movie is just pure magic, and that is thanks to the genius direction of Stanley Kubrick himself, and especially how he was able to get an accurate depiction of space, physics, technology. He was a director that was so ahead of its time, and for a film from 1968, this film still hypnotizes audiences several years later. 2001: A Space Odyssey is literally one of the most beautiful films I have ever seen with my own two eyes, because I keep puzzling myself, how did Stanley Kubrick make this film? It is just such a miracle about how he made this film. I keep puzzling myself to see, how does he get these shots through his cinematography when people are walking upside down, making them feel as if they are breaking the rules of physics and gravity, and also for the fact how this movie was shot in a studio, and you probably think that he actually went in outer space in 1968, but to see everyone just walking upside down in circles and in several directions, it is just so mind-blowing that your jaw drops almost every 5 minutes. This is literally a journey to space through this film, and that is just so much. That is basically the reason why I love Kubrick's direction of this film. Oh my goodness! And from what I have found out about how he was able to capture space perfectly, Kubrick actually spent a lot of time trying to figure out how space works. He wanted to be very particular and perfect about how space was depicted in this film. He even contacted NASA about the physics when people are defying gravity in space, and I have to say his hard work and dedication really paid off when he made this film. And that is also another reason why even people who are astronauts or physicians still praise this film, because of how Kubrick wanted to be very particular about his depiction of science fiction and in space, making sure that it's not just fantasy just because this is just a movie that you can make. That is just another reason why people just still need to praise Kubrick for making this movie. And I have to talk about the special effects. They are very beautiful, and they look so mind-blowingly amazing 52 years later. And you cannot believe that this movie was made without CGI in 1968. Everything just feels as if the colors are coming right in front of you, especially within the last 15 minutes when Dave travels through the millennium of spaces, which kind of reminded me of Interstellar. But films like Interstellar, Ad Astra, and The Martian still need to bow down to this almighty film 2001: A Space Odyssey. And it really baffles me about how was Kubrick able to make these effects feel so realistic several years later, and how he was able to do this without, computers that we have today. This is just a remarkable achievement that filmmakers have achieved back in the 60s, and that's why this film is just so awesome. Not only is 2001 A Space Odyssey a film very devoted to special effects about space, it is also a movie that can be very confusing for a lot of viewers. First of all, there are several ways about how you can view 2001 A Space Odyssey. Some people view it as, a tour of space, while others view it as the dangers of the advancements of human intelligence, which is basically why 2001 A Space Odyssey is such a special movie, because there are several hidden layers to what Kubrick was trying to express with his film. And from my own interpretations, it's talking about the concerns of human evolution and intelligence. Although we make progression with space and technology, we sometimes forget about how much intelligence we spread out, because it also creates things that we don't even think about with the concerns of artificial intelligence, technology, robots, voice recognition, all these type of technologies that we have today and that was not even thought of in 1968, or it didn't even exist at that time. But for a film like 2001 A Space Odyssey, it basically explores about how far will we make progression as the human race. And to see it being portrayed through space and through the millennium of galaxies and this time continuation, that is what makes this film so interesting, because it keeps you puzzling no matter how many times you view this movie. That is the genius of Stanley Kubrick. That is why I love this movie so much, and that is the reason why I'm going to rewatch this movie several times, because this movie is just a miracle to cinema. Therefore, I literally have to give 2001 A Space Odyssey a 10 out of 10! I had a fun time making this movie review. I loved talking about my passion and appreciation for 2001 A Space Odyssey, and I hope this movie review and praising 2001 A Space Odyssey is a birthday gift to Stanley Kubrick himself, because his films, despite them being from the 20th century, they will never age poorly. They will age incredibly well. And for the fact that we are still talking about Stanley Kubrick movies makes me realize that he was one of the brightest geniuses in film history, period. And I cannot wait to make more Stanley Kubrick movie reviews. And I hope everyone has a great Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.